J.K. Rowling says she was bullied off a Harry Potter forum she joined under a pseudonym. Author said she was told she was clearly an idiot who doesn't know anything. I kind of find it funny, the thought that J.K. Rowling probably joined this forum with the thought of like, oh, I'm sure if they don't know that I'm a famous person, then they'll actually agree with me instead of disagreeing with me, and then found out that no, people actually still disagree with your bigoted views, even if they don't know who you are. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning once again to r/AreTheCisOk. It's kind of like Are the Straights Okay, but with cis people. We've done this subreddit before, but for those of you that don't know, that's basically what it is. And if you don't know what Are the Straights Okay is, well then I've also got videos on those, so you can go check those out too. Let's get into the subreddit, shall we? 10 years ago today, Sylveon was announced for Pokemon XY. Happy 10th birthday to Sylveon. Of course, Pokemon is the root of the problem. Yeah, sure. What? Pokemon made trans people, guys. Obviously, how have we been so blind? Trans people are because Pokemon. But on a real note, please don't tell me that XY was 10 years ago. It was like 2 years ago, right? Pokemon XY can't be that old. It was 2013. I feel old. I'm only in my 20s, and that makes me feel old. Sarah Cirillo, a transgender American fighting in the Ukrainian army, lost a portion of its hand to Russian shelling today. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Have you noticed how when it comes to right-wing people and trans people, there is absolutely no compassion? Okay, Jackson Hinkle here does not care that Sarah is a person, okay? Even going as far as to dehumanize Sarah by using its instead of her. Jackson has no compassion for the fact that in a war zone, Sarah has lost a portion of her hand. He has no compassion for the fact that there's a war going on in Ukraine. No, all that matters to him is that he can make a comment about the fact that Sarah is trans. All that matters to him is that he can try and dehumanize Sarah. It's actually disgusting. It's really gross. And this is a common view throughout a large portion of the alt-right conservatives at the moment. Most alt-right conservatives, in fact. And you know what dehumanizing language is very reminiscent of? It's a strategy that has been used throughout many different genocides. Anytime a culture has engaged in a genocide, be it the Nazis engaging in genocide against the Jews, you know, be it engaging in the genocide against Native Americans, using dehumanizing language, making them seem less than human, you know, that's a really common strategy. It's a very, very well documented thing that has been done throughout history, and they're just doing it like it's nothing. What does that tell you about them? Really? Trans women are women. Trans men are men. If trans women were women and trans men were men, they wouldn't be called trans women / trans men. But they would. That's a really stupid. Descriptors exist because you're describing things, okay? That's like saying if black women were women or black men were men, they wouldn't be called black women or black men. Or if white women were women or white men were men, they wouldn't be called white women or men. If gay women were women or gay men were men, they wouldn't be called gay women or men. Do you understand how stupid a phrase that sounds now? Descriptors exist. Describing something doesn't make it any less of a thing. Resumes, including they/them pronouns, are more likely to be overlooked, new report finds. I am really not surprised by this. I mean, I'm still disappointed by this, but I'm really not surprised. I don't have much more to add. I use they/them pronouns, obviously. And yeah, I'm not surprised because, you know, probably a very large portion of employers are older demographics, and older demographics definitely struggle with these concepts more. I'm not saying that all older people do, but, you know, a lot more do because times change and old people get out of date. So it's not surprising, but yeah, it still real disappointing that we still haven't been able to get past this, that someone could be disregarded for a job purely based on their gender identity, you know, which is a crime. That's a crime, but we can't persecute for it. It's the same as someone being disregarded for a job because they're a woman, or because they're a man, or because of their skin color, you know? Any identifier about a human that's something that's out of their control that you can be disregarded a job for, it's just gross. It's just gross. How about we hire people because they're qualified and not because of what's between their legs? Crazy thought, I know. I was frozen to the spot in shock. It was said to intimidate. How a friendly chat in the ladies of a London pub turned menacing and plunged a Tory councillor 22 into the clash between trans rights and women's safety. I thought, this is going well. I'm handling the situation fine. Okay, before I even need to read the rest, who needs to think that? If you are having a conversation with someone, only a Tory would actually have to think that while just having a conversation with a trans person. Anybody else would not even need to think that. They would just be having a conversation. You can tell where this is going because it's a Tory. For those of you outside of the UK, by the way, the Tories are the UK Conservative Party. I didn't treat her any differently. Why would I? Well, you clearly did if you immediately thought, I'm handling this situation fine. We spoke about the paucity of loo paper and dreadful taps and temperamental hand dryer. It was as she moved to the door to leave that it happened. I remarked that we had no choice but to awkwardly shake our hands to dry, and she turned to me and replied, I'm going to wipe my hands on my penis. With that, she disappeared. Until this, our conversation had been quite positive and pleasant. Okay, so what we know is that this didn't happen. Whether this Tory councillor deliberately misheard or accidentally misheard, I can't say, but I know for a fact the trans person just said, I'm going to wipe my hands on my pants. That's all it would have been. As someone who has a penis, I can't think of a single situation ever that I would think, oh, I need to dry my hands on my penis. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna be a thing anybody would ever say. This Tory MP is making this up. It's unsurprising they're making this up. They're a Tory, but they're making this up to hurt trans people. That's what this is. That's all this is. 100% this is a Tory being a Tory. Trans women are getting killed around the world. Women and girls in Yemen are forced to wear veils. If they don't, they get fucking killed. No one is killing you for being a weird porn-sick sissy, and if trans women get killed, it has nothing to do with us but more with homophobia. We are getting killed. Remove the wig, the bad makeup, and dress like the male you are so you won't. Not that difficult. Wow, classic victim blaming. But there's layers to the victim blaming, okay? So trans people are being killed. On average, trans people are far more likely to get assaulted than cis people. It's an actual statistical fact. But on top of that, they reference that girls in Yemen are forced to wear veils, and if they don't, they get killed. And like, that's bad. That's a bad thing. We know that's a bad thing. At no point has anybody justified that thing. It's not even relevant. It's just a bad thing. But then after that, they go on to say that if you don't want to die, you should dress differently and stop wearing wigs or whatever. So they're saying, oh, it's bad that these girls are being killed by being forced to wear things they don't want to wear. But also, I believe you should be forced to wear something so as not to be killed. It's a real double standard right there. Pick a lane. If you're going to be transphobic, but also think it's bad that people are being killed for wearing something or dressing a certain way, pick a lane. You can't choose both. Trans women and trans men, trans people in general, should not be at risk of dying for dressing in the way that makes them most comfortable. And if anybody could ever believe that it is justified that a trans person is murdered for dressing in the way that makes them feel most comfortable, just go ahead and think about what that says about you. That you believe that it is justified that someone should be murdered for wearing clothes. Think about that. Just think about that. Just in, Berlin, Germany, to allow all women to go topless in public swimming pools. Is that real women or fake trans women? They are so obsessed with trans people that they cannot see a single thing mention women and not try and make it about trans people. Like, you don't see trans people going, oh, does this include trans women? You see cis people going, does this include those fake trans people? They are so obsessed with trans people. They cannot go through everyday life and witness anything without making it about trans people. They love talking about how this LGBT agenda is being rammed down their throats, but they are always the ones that bring it up. Consistently. Every time. Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 accused of pushing transgender ideology by making Karen Gillan's Nebula look like a man. What? So Nebula's wearing a long sleeve shirt and that suddenly means that Nebula's a man? Once again, transphobes are so incredibly obsessed with trans people. I can't. I cannot. Oh, these people need to get lives. They need to go outside and touch grass. If they can't watch a trailer or just a cover poster for a new film without going, they're pushing the trans agenda, look at the shirt that character is wearing. They are so incredibly obsessed. It's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy obsession that these people have with trans people. Genuinely, they need help. They need actual psychiatric help because this is an unhealthy obsession. Man regrets transitioning to woman after seeing line for restroom. He wasn't expecting the lines to be so long, just to piss. Oh, it's the Babylon Bee, everybody. Isn't the Babylon Bee so hilarious? They have such interesting and original jokes, such as people and their gender, or the people and their gender, or even the people and their gender, or, right, this one's really gonna push it out, people and gender. Oh, what a spicy one. No one could have seen that one coming. Get new jokes. Babylon Bee is like the face of the one joke. Get new jokes. It's not been funny for decades. Just say you're a Nazi. When it comes to the trans ideology, I am a Nazi. They're just saying the quiet part out loud now. This has got over 200 likes. That's over 200 Nazis that are just openly admitting to being Nazis. They're not even hiding it. And the fact of it is, Elon Musk's Twitter now gives these people a platform. Welcome to 2023, everybody, where being a Nazi online is encouraged. And the final post. This is how men who eat dessert and drink pink lemonade listen to music. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be lectured about gender or sexuality by a guy who is concerned about what eating dessert or drinking pink lemonade could mean about his sexuality or gender. Imagine having a masculinity so fragile that eating something or drinking something because it tastes nice could reflect anything about your character other than the fact that you think something tastes nice. Like, I'll be real, if a man, be him gay or not, be him cis or not, is gonna sit down and eat a dessert and drink pink lemonade and not give a damn about what anyone else thinks about that, he is a bajillion times more masculine than any of these people who post about, oh, it's not masculine to drink pink lemonade. Oh, my masculinity is so fragile that if I trip over it will shatter into a million pieces. That's the demographic of people who make posts like this. And that's where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below. Or equally, you can click that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. I will say it helps a lot right now. Money is becoming a little bit tight. I passed my driving test and my driving insurance has increased by more than double, like 150% increase. So genuinely, it helps to be supported, but I am going to keep making content regardless. But yeah, special thank you to everyone that does support me. All of your names are on screen. You are all incredible, wonderful people. Genuinely, you don't even realize how much it helps, but it does help so much. So thank you everybody that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.